Guys, thanks for joining us for part two. I just wanted to let you know that there is a bit of a trigger warning here. In this episode, we will be discussing a bit of death, some new innovative ideas surrounding death, the morgue, the mortuary, and that may be a bit traumatic for some of you. If that's not for you, again, like, subscribe, enjoy part one, and we'll see you for next week for episode 3. Thanks. Y'all know our crime situation out of hand, and for y'all to not be paying the funeral home is crazy work.
Yeah,
Say that
so it was recently in this week's papers. I think it was Thursday's paper, whatever. And there are 9 funeral homes that go
9?
across, I think, 3 islands: New Providence, Abaco, and I think it's just New Providence and Abaco. Yeah, that go
That's
across
what
these 2 or 3 islands. I could be mistaken. The 9 funeral homes have put the Royal Bahamas Police Force on hold, i.e. they're not doing any services for them until they're paid.
As they should.
And as we know, whenever there's a suspicious death, like if somebody suddenly dies, or homicide, suicide, where police are required to be on the scene, funeral homes have to come and pick up the body, and the police is supposed to pay for it. And the police have not been paying the funeral homes to pick up the dead. And one of the funeral home directors, he says the police owe him roughly $40,000. And this is one of the funeral homes. And these funeral homes are taking the stance of they're not going to pick up any more bodies until they're paid. And they're going to focus on clientele who are actually coming into their businesses with their loved ones and actually paying a bill, like to get funeral services and stuff done. That's what they're going to be focused on until they're paid. Like you say, our crime situation last year was very active. And that's other than, like you say, suspicious death, suicides. These people gotta get picked up off the street, like literally. So to me, it's like when I read it, I was like, "Ooh, that's disgraceful." It's like, why y'all always in the papers, man? I think again. Get the police. Honestly, the police been in the news more than criminals. Y'all got to do better. Make me on, man.
And how's the police getting funded already? How's the police? Okay, how is the police being funded?
The police is funded by the government. They get a budget every year, just like any other business. You get a budget, and the police actually have an accounting department. Yeah. So it ain't as if they run in a tuck shop, because there was somebody I know who used to work for Scotia. She left Scotia to join the force to work in their accounts department. I mean, even though she went there to work in their accounts department, they still have to train as police officers.
Correct.
So they still got to do all the basic training, shoot a gun, all this stuff. In the event that you do have civil unrest, everybody who's on the force has to go out there. But she works in the accounts department.
So that would have been a no for me. I'm just here to crunch numbers. I'm not going out there to civil unrest.
That was the thing, because when I wanted to, because everybody knew I wanted to do forensic pathology, and a route that you could have done was to work on the force. And I was like, it is like, you have to go through the same training as a police officer. Doing that, I said, I'm here to look at evidence and solve crimes. I'll give you the evidence to solve your crime. Like, fuck up down these streets when I run it up and down and catching a tan, rolling around in the mud. And then ain't even no guarantee y'all can pay for me to go to school. Nah, I'm not doing that. That was not an option for me.
So the investigation needs to be done within the accounting department, no?
Yeah, as to why y'all ain't paying the vendors. Because people believe, because Wayne Monroe responded to it, and people believe like this is a national security issue, and it's not.
I was going to say, you just need to pay the bills.
It's not. It's an internal problem. Why is the accounts department not paying these people on time?
The people.
That's the whole problem. Why are they not paying them on time?
But remember now, everything in government isn't instant.
But
Ebony, $40,000?
Overnight.
That's a lot. How much bodies I had to pick up that I accumulated $40,000 in back pay from you.
I'm not saying that ain't crazy.
That's a lot.
Crazy work. But everything in government ain't instant. I know that for a fact. Like, you send your bill and it gets processed. It may not be this month, but it'll probably be like 2-3 months behind.
Yeah, but this
sounds like
$40,000. This sounds like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's
$40,000.
Like. Now, I don't know what happened in there. If they have like a contract or something like that,
more likely.
I'm sure they have a contract type situation.
I don't think it's a contract.
But to say have all this back pay, I don't know why I'll have all this back pay.
I don't think it's a contract. I think it's who the police call. Because, you know, some of the funeral homes is be like, they might know somebody on the force. And if something happened, they'll call me to come for the body. So it ain't a contract to say, this is the funeral home I have contracted to pick up all my bodies. It's more or less of, okay, we know somebody to come for them. Type of situation.
Then maybe that right there is the problem,
and
because
then,
I don't have you as a vendor. So how now am I supposed to verify that you've been out here and do all of this?
Right. And when I now pick it up, I send you a bill, and you know,
right. And now I have to be like, well, y'all, who sent for this person? And you can't do it like that. It can't be. The Bahamas have to get out of that word of mouth type of thing. No, we need to set it up properly. Let me have a vendor. I know that you came here on this day because I called you here, and then yes, I could pay you, but not my friend working a crime saying, "Oh, boy, what you saying? Come,
come get this body."
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? And then now, how do I go back and verify you actually been on here? How? How do I do it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And last year was hella busy.
And you can't have one vendor.
There was a body like every week.
Yeah, you can't have one vendor
every week.
So, you know, you gotta have
there was a body every day.
Yeah, you gotta have multiple vendors. So you can't have one vendor. So, yeah, child, please.
They were too busy last year for that foolishness. Imagine them trying to verify that you've been here on the scene. I just gotta go watch the news. Let me see and roll the tape back. Let me see if you was here for real.
Is a lot, and people would automatically take the side of the vendor. But as a person who works in finance and who deals with vendors and bank reconciliations and invoice reconciliations, payment vendors do not keep good records. Yeah, they don't. So even though this man is saying the government owes, or the police force owes him $40,000, it may not even be $40,000. It may not even be it. No, it may even be less.
It could be more. It may be less.
It might be less because, like I say, in my experience in reconciling invoices, you would have vendors send a statement, and you're not supposed to pay from statements. You're supposed to pay from invoices. You would send a statement and be like, "Oh, the company owes them $60,000," and I'm looking at the list of invoices on the statement. And when I now go into my GL and my records, I can see that half of these invoices I already paid you for. And I have to go back to you and be like, no, I don't pay you for this, I didn't pay you for this. And then when you then take it down, it's like, you tell me I owe you 60, and now when I look, I only owe you 40. I was going to pay you an extra 20K because you have awful record keeping.
Exactly. And then that's it right there. How do I know that this isn't something that I paid?
Exactly.
So the fault is probably on both parties.
Yeah, because $40,000, and I honestly believe most businesses in the Bahamas, especially if they're smaller, most businesses in the Bahamas do not have an accounts department. They do not have a dedicated department or even two persons that are literally reconciling their bank statements. To be like, okay, you got a credit into your account for $500, and it was for so and so paying on invoice such and such. Ain't nobody keeping no good bookkeeping. You just know, right? Oh, yeah, I pay you. Yeah, it's like. So I show how some of the vendors or the funeral homes, their records aren't the most pristine either.
Right. And then, like, not to name drop the one, but this one here that's showing on our new Sunset Crematorium. How big is that?
Never heard of them.
That's the first time I ever heard that name.
Never heard of them.
If you ain't a Cedar Crest or Westview,
Evergreen,
Bethel, okay, like even what's low, even what's low the merit,
a small one.
Even what's low the merits could pass. But it's like.
But you know what I mean? You look like a small mom and pop type of mortuary. And so I'm just like, you may be the face of your mortuary. You may be the same person that's doing all the work, probably putting on the makeup. Like you're saying, how good is your record keeping for real? You're saying that they owe you $40,000, but have you reconciled your bank statements with what you're actually putting into your system?
probably like the Chamber
Like
of
there should
Commerce
be a
need to
balance.
And
probably the Chamber of
trust
Commerce
me,
need to.
sorry.
I say probably like the Chamber of Commerce need to implement like with these businesses. It's mandatory that they have like a accounts department that details all of these things because, like you say, like they just don't have them. Like they're absent.
But you read
But
these
what's
people
his
have business
name?
accounts, and in order to open a business account, you have to have a record of your sales.
You're right.
You have to
Record, but not
present.
like a
No, you literally have to get, like, if I want to open up a business account with a bank, I have to have records.
Yeah, because I tell you, Scotiabank don't play that.
You have to have
That's
records
Scotiabank,
and detailed records.
business, that business banking,
So like
they don't play around.
So like for instance, if I want to open, I gotta have my articles of memorandum, how long it's been around, who all signs on this account, all these different positions. I do that. If I now been with the bank, if I done had this account for a while and I now want to get a business loan, the first thing they're gonna ask you for your financials. This ain't like me going to get a personal loan where I just tell you I make $50,000 a year and my TDS
pay
is this,
slips,
and
that's that.
you get the $50,000. When it's now a
Right.
business loan, they want your financials. They want to see your gross revenue, your gross profit, all that. You ain't no CPA. You ain't never get this
Exactly.
loan. You ain't never get this loan. It's like, and then even if you
So
hire a CPA, because you could like freelance or an accountant, even the
Right.
accountant guy actually be like, what's this?
Exactly. Where's
Make
the
all the
checks
math.
and the balances?
You ain't keep no
Ex-
receipt. You ain't keep, it's like, how am I supposed to make financials out of this?
exactly. So
You
each
want me to
business
help you
needs to
out,
have one.
get you
Each
this.
each
Yep.
business needs to have one.
But
Yeah,
like even what's with the mad name who in charge of finances? It's Simon Wilson.
Who?
Simon Wilson, isn't that his name? The one who's like in charge of finance. Like he did away with that whole check thing. So
Okay.
a lot of it is now like
Direct deposits.
we only do direct deposits because the whole check thing that's not working out. We need to have proper records, and I'm sure if he were to check his bank statement, he's seeing credits coming from the government, and I bet you he would be shamed. He'd be like, "Ooh, maybe that was a."
And because you
That
have
could be
so
my-
many, you might have other clients. You ain't reconciling what's really going into your bank account.
You sitting here and all you're seeing is an invoice. You probably ain't even have a proper filing system to say, boom, I get this from the government already.
Yeah.
All you see is a bunch of invoices and then you just calculate that and you like, hey, they owe me 40K. No,
Because I'm like,
No.
40K is a lot of money. That's a lot. That's an
the
exorbitant
government
amount of money.
ain't that backwards. And I can tell you that. My mom's an accountant. They ain't that backwards. Ain't no way.
So audits on both ends, basically.
Pretty much. Because $40,000 is a lot.
They might be months behind. I'd say maybe but 3 or 4, but like
You
a
know
year.
which bodies you had to pick up to say you accumulated
Rack up
$40,000?
I know there was a lot of bodies dropping last year, but damn.
It still ain't equate to that because you wasn't the only funeral home picking up bodies.
Exactly.
So it's like,
That sounds like years.
but even if you want to mandate, you don't even necessarily have to mandate people having accountants in their business because quite frankly, it ain't for the government benefit. It's for your benefit.
It's you.
It's for your benefit because, like you say, if you want to get a business loan, you can't get it because you don't have no records. That ain't hurting the bank. That's hurting you because you can't get this money. You really need this money. You probably making 6 figures every year or even every month, but you have no proof of it.
Right.
You probably could
And let's
repay a
not
loan
act-
for $1 million if you wanted to borrow from the bank. You probably could repay it, but the bank is saying, "Where's your proof?"
Right.
Mhm.
And let's not act like the funeral home ain't making a bunch of money.
Listen,
That's the
they
only
got it.
business that can always make money.
They
That
make
and the
money
back.
All of them
every
don't make
week.
money. All of them don't make money. Some of them is closed down, Lord.
You serious?
Riverside
got
closed
that.
down.
I
The
never heard of
one
them.
that exactly.
I was about to say who that is.
They used to be on. They used to be on Market Street, but another funeral home is in there now. The
But you
next
know,
one,
Market Street is Demerits, right?
no,
Demerits
Yeah,
on Market
I
Street.
don't know
right?
about the merits.
you got to go further up. You almost by NIB. It right on the corner. The Chinese food store, right across the street from it.
But the funeral homes need
Yeah.
to start investing in property.
Who said funeral homes
Because
on no property? The Santa
I was about to
wants to.
say.
like the
You
rest
think
of them need
Battles
to
ain't on that
because
block?
because it could come hand in hand, you know.
You
Because we need
that's
graveyard.
true.
True. No, but that's true. Like, I'm a funeral home. Let me also invest in land. That way, when it's time for you to
Drop 'em.
come here for your untimely demise, I now have some place to put you.
To put them. It goes
You
hand in
know?
hand. I mean, we still have some property left, do we?
No, like I say, the bigger funeral homes, they have property because
Like, who owns a God?
But
On
lawn
the lake?
or Lakeview?
No,
Lakeview,
Lakeview? No, but lot. Lakeview.
or you mean for you want the funeral homes own property for burial?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a totally different business. That's a totally different business, and that's a business where you have to consistently invest your money because your services is a one and done. But when I say one and done, your client comes and pays you one time. I pay you for the plot, but this person could be in this plot for the next 40, 50, 60 years, and I still have to maintain it. So you have to consistently invest your money over time to have money for future maintenance. That's the thing about cemeteries.
But that's okay though. Like that's why it would be a smart thing to do.
Right, it's not impossible.
No. I don't think it's not possible. Me, particularly, if I owned a well-established funeral home, I would not have a cemetery because once you pay me, because let's say funeral home is telling you $10K a pop minimum,
Right.
$10K a pop, and you pay that one time. Boom.
Right.
I don't have to look back at you no more. I didn't get that. I done put your makeup on. I done put you in your casket, and I send you where I gotta go. Whereas if I have a cemetery, you pay me that one time, but I still have to look after you for the next 50, 60, 70 years. And on top of that, Lakeview has already expanded their property multiple times. Woodlawn pretty much in Charles W. Sanders' yacht because they run out of space. They ran out of space, and you have to now constantly find real estate to now expand your business. Why you think Woodlawn can't find people who live? How much people are going to Woodlawn and they literally cannot find people loved ones in that graveyard?
I would say
that is
market.
embarrassing.
That's definitely poor management on their part.
So, and I don't think it's poor management. I think it's legit. They don't have enough land and they're burying people on top of each other. That is my opinion.
You got to get innovative now. You just got to market things different. To me, I would just like market waterside funerals, I guess. Like at least make it something like where buy property on the islands.
Behemoths.
Hey, I love me a good boat cruise.
Y'all doing these devil worship things. Bury my loved one and call it that. But you put that on the water and the Behemoths weird like that, right? Because remember, Lakeview wasn't always that big. Lakeview was now extended well into the back. Lakeview has levels now. Like
but what
stairs.
you're saying is making sense. Like in South Korea, that's what they do. Like you go to the funeral home and it's literally one-stop shop. You don't have to worry about anything. The crematorium, they have their halls for that. And then if you want an actual graveyard, they have the land for that as well. So you get everything right here. Boom. And I think that's a good idea. Like they should do that.
I just would
Well,
want
you
them
gotta
should invest in land. Me personally, I wouldn't want to be bothered with it. Now, one idea that I always wanted to do, or I've always wanted to be seen done in the Bahamas because we are evidently running out of burial space. Because I know they were trying to petition to open a graveyard someplace in a residential area, and the people in the area was like, no, it got shut down somewhere around Fox Hill or whatever,
like, immediately
Bernard Road, right?
Yeah.
Me, I wouldn't have no qualms with it. I wouldn't have no qualms living in the area of a cemetery, right? Because think about it, Woodlawn,
Ain't nobody going there.
No, Woodlawn, literally, Woodlawn, you have to drive past houses. When you go to the corner, that's a neighborhood. Going into Woodlawn. Spikenard is next to a neighborhood. Old Trail is next to a neighborhood. The only cemetery that's not next to a neighborhood is Lakeview. And technically, there are houses in the back of Lakeview. If you drive through that corner on the service road and go up, there are houses in the back there. But Lakeview is the only one that's not particularly in a residential area, but every other cemetery is in a residential area. Look at the Family Islands. You live right next door, or you share a wall with the cemetery on the Family Islands. I like, to me, I don't see the big
I don't
deal in
see the
it,
big
right?
deal.
I don't see
They
the big
coming
deal in
out.
it.
Yeah.
But the idea that I always wanted, because I think they do it in the States, it's called pod cemeteries. So like you could be turned into a tree. So
Huh?
think about it.
Okay, let me see
Your
it. Visualize it for
your
me.
worm food anyway. Look at it this, your worm food.
Yeah,
Let's call
right.
it what it
Your
is.
dirt.
Ashes
Your
to
dirt. Your
ashes,
dirt.
dust to dust. There's a capsule, right? Where you put the body in the capsule. It's like if you was planting a seed
Uh-huh.
and the person goes into this big capsule that's organic and you plant it. It's gonna have seeds and everything.
Oh,
You as the
okay.
body provide the fertilization and
Okay.
because the worms and stuff coming to eat you anyway.
Anyway,
But
yeah.
out of your decay and all this fertilization, a tree is born. So it's like you
Okay.
could have like a whole garden
You know
with
what?
trees.
That
but these
tree
were people.
about to be healthy AF.
We're awesome worm food. You know how I proved that? We had two cats. When we buried in the backyard. Chrissy died when there was a mango tree somewhere around the house or whatever. And she buried Chrissy around this mango tree. You need to see the size of this mango tree now. Where she buried my
Okay.
cat. You need to see the size of it and how quickly it grew. That's organic fertilizer. So it's like, why not help the environment at the same time? Because technically, those funerals aren't good for the environment either. Because you're putting a foreign object into the ground. You
Like with all,
possibly effing up the water table too as well. So
like the bedding and stuff.
Yeah.
just the casket itself, because a lot of caskets are metal. People can't afford the mahogany ones, child. That's money. Okay.
Oh yeah, that is true.
So when them shit start to rust and all everything's under there, it's like it's now being put into the earth.
Killing the soil.
Right. And it
My thing is,
eventually touches the water table and all that stuff.
is this pod see through?
No.
Okay, bad.
No, it's like it's brown and it almost looks like a big seed. But you
Okay.
just know the person is being buried into the ground. I was like, so are you naked? And you probably are naked. I mean, you could have a traditional funeral before this part.
Okay, like a memorial.
Right. But
Okay.
you put the person into the pot and you bury them, and eventually a tree grows. And it's
See, that's fine. Yeah, that could work.
I could get behind that. I could get behind
more
that.
oxygen from trees and all that stuff.
Yeah. More
More
trees. Period.
more money in your
And that's-
pocket.
That's what we need to fight. Climate
Climate
change.
change and all this stuff. It's like I did anyway, so tree.
Okay,
Yeah, I can get
that could
behind that. I
actually
could.
work.
And then like even if you want to
Money.
make it
And
like
one thing you can do.
even if you want to make it like a monument, you could put like a little bench there for your loved ones to come sit on the tree.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I
just
like
like a
it.
memory of or something. Like make it to
Memory
like a
of.
real communicative of. Okay, that could work.
I like that.
Yeah.
So are
I know
you
it's a multi-million-dollar
buried?
project. But
Are you
it's,
buried vertically?
it's almost like the
horizontally?
body's in a fetal position.
Like so.
Because it's like a capsule.
Okay.
It's like a big seed.
Okay.
So you like in the fetal
See,
position.
I thought about like this size, type
I
of thing,
think you
because
just get
I was
buried like
thinking,
this.
right.
I
No,
was thinking like that,
Like
it's
tunnel
like
down.
it's like an orb shape.
like a ball.
Yeah. So the
So-
body's gonna
So
be
they
like in a fetal
packing you in
position.
there. Okay.
So because you work in a mortuary before, how does that work? Like with
I
embalming
never
and
worked in a
stuff?
mortuary. I worked in the morgue. Right.
Same thing. No.
No, it's not.
Ooh,
It's
okay. Okay. So how would you position my body to live?
Because I was
Right.
thinking about the rigor mortis.
no,
too.
rigor mortis dies off after that first day. And the body becomes pliable.
Loose
after that.
again. Okay.
People think you stay stiff forever, but you don't. Rigor mortis sets
That's
in like
true, because
immediately after
remember-
death, but it wears off after.
That's just how they be posing them dead
Yeah.
people.
It becomes pliable afterwards.
Posing them dead people for a funeral. I hate that.
Because just remember, even after the
Oh, that's so
body
darky.
expires, like within those first couple of hours, the body can still have jerks
Yeah.
because the
Heard about
nerves don't
that.
necessarily die.
Imagine.
Die.
Imagine
what
I
they-
call
what you
the
think?
police immediately.
I was like, wait, hold on now.
Call me.
Something you want to let out? Did you forget something?
Oh, and they let out gas too.
Oh yeah,
Woo!
they be
Yeah,
releasing
gas
all the
too.
stuff.
Remember the one was on TikTok talking about how she worked in the mortuary and the body like
Information.
sat up.
Yeah, because the gas escaped out of them.
Information.
No, like the person was dead. and they were laying flat, but the person like sat up like a 90-degree angle. Girl, I was out of there. Out of there. What are you doing? You're
Sit
supposed to
down.
on. She's about to swing on that.
It's like, Joe ass down.
That funny, like, and then you be in that scary
It
movie
takes a strong
scene
person
saying,
to work in the mortuary.
"Ooh,
Like,
some
there's no
scary
way.
shit." No, because when the body is being embalmed, the body jerks. When it's being embalmed, it jerks.
I guess it's a chemical reaction kind of thing.
I think it's because you drawing out the blood and putting in the embalming fluid.
I just can't. I doing this
So
and you.
it's jerking, the body jerking.
If I might slap you. If you don't keep still. Damn.
Oh, that was my thing with sewing up the bodies. Like the obese people who like had a lot of fat lining. And like because the needle is a hook needle. And so you have to like get under. And because of the fat, just like if you use a clean chicken and it's be oily, the skin would be slided. And I'd be like, oh, this is it's gonna be like because you have to make sure you have a good grip. Sorry. This could be a clip for TikTok. You gotta make sure you have a good grip on the needle and on the skin because you don't want to risk losing a grip on the needle and sticking yourself with it. So when you used to be trying to get a good grip on the skin and not grease, like I said, because like the lining of the stomach, the lining of the abdomen, let me say the stomach, the lining of the abdomen, if you obese or if you fat, like, you know, some people say you lean and not and you just have muscle. Some people are not. Some people are fat. And that lining right under the first level of the skin is just layers of fat. So it's like, that's what I have to sew through. And it's oily and it's greasy. And I be like, want a sick dread. And you got to make sure you get the needle through without slipping and sticking yourself. And all. So that used to be a struggle. And this is why I tell people who overweight, you selfish. You're a selfish motherfucker. Okay? Because you need to understand that when you die, somebody has to deal with your ass. Because no, you're laughing. People need to understand that somebody has to deal with you. Somebody have to lift you out of whatever house. Somebody have to cut you open. Someone have to sew you back. All this shit. 6 or 8 people have to lift you. Or something. It's like somebody has to deal with you. Because we had this lady, she was morbidly obese. And let me tell you, this woman was so heavy, it took 6 of us in there to get her from the gurney to the autopsy table. And we didn't even lift her. We had to like put the gurney like right flush against the autopsy table. And we had to slide her over. Like we really had to push her over. Like some people were on one side pulling and the next one were on the other side pushing because that's how big and heavy she was. She didn't fully fit on the table. So that's like crazy, every time we tried to put her arms to her side, they went back out like this. So like while we were doing the autopsy, her arms were just out like this because they could not stay on the table because she was that wide. She was wider than the table.
Don't you just leave the gurney and just let her lay between?
No, because the autopsy table is hooked up to drainage system. So when the blood and everything runs down. So it's like a sink
station. Foreshadowing for the next episode, guys.
Right? Yeah. So you can't have them in the gurney because you can't have like all the thing and stuff on the floor. I mean, the floor gets mopped and disinfected daily, but you don't want puddles on the floor and people got to walk through it. So, puddle. Yeah, but Ebony, I tell people the morgue. I think we could even snip this episode in 2. I don't know. Like we could put part 1 and part 2. We should do that.
Puddle.
Part 1 and part 2 of this episode, like to be continued type of situation. But I always tell people the morgue. That's why I had to tell you, Yuri. There's a difference between the morgue and the mortuary. The mortuary is when you get all pretty and they dress you, style your hair, and you put on the clothes and all that stuff. The morgue is nitty gritty. Just how you come off the street,
slam you up.
Just how you come off the street, whatever state you was in, that's how you come in here. And gotta strip you naked,
clothes off you,
examine the body, look for anything out of the sorts. Then you open them up, you skin back the head to get into the brain.
Skin back is crazy.
Yeah, like you pretty much almost you borderline I use the word borderline, peeling off their face. Because you pull the flesh back all the way to here. So you cut from the back here, you cut back from here, you make like because when they land in the casket, you don't see that part. So you make an incision from ear to ear, and you like scrape the skin away from the skull, and you peel it back, and it goes right to here. So you can then take a saw to cut open the brain, to cut open the cranium, the skull, and you gingerly slice the brain out of it.
This is what she wanted to do, you know.
And I to this day, if I had the money at the time, I would.
Until 9 to 5, she wanted to do this.
You sound
She
far
wanted
away
to
at
play
me.
with people's bodies.
Yeah.
She wanted to play with people's bodies. This is what she wanted to
You
do
got
for
to
her
turn
9
the
to
mic
5.
in. Why you sound low?
Me? Like
No,
fine?
Emily.
She wanted to
better.
play with people's
Oh
bodies.
yeah.
Play with it. There's a difference. Wait, back to what I was saying. Like I said,
this is what she wanted to do for her 9 to 5. She wanted to play
we
with
can
bodies.
clip this as a bonus episode.
Let the body sit the floor. That's what she
Yeah,
wanted.
we can clip this part as a bonus episode. But yeah, so when you now gingerly cut the brain, because you can't damage the brain while taking it out. So you got to be careful cutting the brain stem and everything. So you could see the brain as a whole before you dissect it to see if there's any obvious trauma to the brain, to the organ. And then you look around at it, and then you do your slices. And it's like, you slice it just like meatloaf.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's
You
all
slice
we
it
have
just
for
like
you today.
meatloaf. Hold on, the mic. Because it's really soft. It's really soft and gelatinous. It's really soft and gelatinous. So you slice it. You don't go, because you know it's two hemispheres, the left and the right.
Right.
You don't slice it this way. You go this way. So you have a cross section, and this is where you look for any abnormalities in the brain. So if you have a cross section, you could see if the person had a brain bleed or an aneurysm or something. It'll tell in the brain when you slice it and dissect it. Most of the times I was doing it, the brain was normal, but that lady, we knew it was her. I feel like her passing, because I wasn't privy to the results of the autopsies, but I can tell her passing was related to her weight. Because listen, her heart was, because you know your heart is supposed to be the size of your fist.
Size of your fists, right?
Her heart was huge. Her heart was enlarged,
That was
and it had fat around it.
That's crazy.
And that was the first thing the doctor was like, "This heart is big." So she had an enlarged heart.
Crazy, right? That poor thing was working.
Working hard. And people, and this is what it make me scream. This, and I guess because I've seen this shit, I've seen this up front, the human body in its rawest form. Or like you see the smokers with those lungs. There was a guy, you could tell that he smoked. Those lungs were black, black, and with infection. So like pus and shit in your lungs. It's like because I've seen this up front. And I've seen the human body in its rawest form. And people do not take care of it. It pisses me off. It annoys me. Because a lot of these things can be prevented. You could have lost weight. You didn't have to smoke. You could have, it's like, I understand people dying because of accidents or something. But it can be prevented. Because you just had bad habits. It's like, it annoys me. It annoys me. You only get one body, man. Can't be
tricky.
Huh?
Can't be doing yourself tricky.
Say the heart, the lungs, the liver, and you see the stomach inside. The last thing they ate, and you just have to take a urine sample. People always want a urine sample from a dead person. You can't.
From the blood, eh?
Yeah. So you take the syringe, a needle, and just insert it into the bladder. Hopefully there's something in there. And you just draw it out, and you get a urine sample. Because you just need it for toxicology report. And then the stomach contents, you get some people, it'll be good to know if they ate right before it happened. So whatever they ate, there's still some remnants in there. So you see the stomach, you cut the little snip, and you squeeze the contents out, like a piping bag, and you put some of it in the...
My stomach literally did a flip just now.
Right. I thought it was so big.
You squeeze it like a piping bag, and you put it in the specimen container, so it goes to the lab because that's the thing. What's the last thing they ate? Did they have an allergic reaction? Did someone poison their food?
Poison them.
It will also give you a time of death because if I know you ate this food at 4 o'clock and the level of digestion it's at, I can tell how long you was dead for. You know,
It's a good TV show though,
right? And then when you done finish, empty the stomach contents, and you slice it, you spread it flat because it's just a little muscle. It's just muscle that's like a bag. That's all the stomach is, a little baggie. And you open it and you check the lining of the stomach, see if there's any abnormalities, any cysts, tumors, stuff like that. And that's why you
Probably about jealousies in the babies.
yeah. So you have to literally look at each organ one by one, see what was going on in each of these. If there's something abnormal, you look into the eyes, like under the lid, like that. These tell a story. Like right under here, those tell a story. You look into the mouth, look around the teeth. That tells a story as well. Because like your strangulation and stuff. If somebody is strangled, it'll show in their eyes. Like right here, it'll show in their eyes.
Like a lot of.
Seeing the dad give away.
Yeah, that they were strangled.
Maybe. Seeing the no,
Not
okay.
necessarily the neck, but it's called PKO. I think it's called PKO. Because
I don't know
all the blood rushing into the eyes.
Vessels.
You
Keep in
cut
mind.
off. Yeah,
It's also
so show
a
that.
top line of Criminal Minds.
That's a good basis for a TV show.
There was a guy who came in there who was smothered to death. He was. He came in there and he was tied with I'm not sure if it was an invasion. It was a home invasion. Let me just say it was a home invasion. But I don't know if it was people that he knew or targeted him or it's just like a robbery gone wrong type of situation. But when he came in there, he had like the telephone cord. They tied him up with the telephone cord. So it was you could see that it wasn't planned because they just was using stuff from around the house.
No, it's around.
Yeah, and they tied him with the telephone cord, and you could tell that they smothered him to death because he had bruising around his chest. So they was pressing on his chest or whatever, or kneeling on him, and he was smothered to death. Yeah, I loved working in the morgue though. Every day, every person was a story. And I know people, like when I went back to school, that first week I was in grade 12, because that was my job training. And then I did a month in college. But when I came back, it was like, you see how you going like,
You know what? I totally forgot that you did this in high school.
yeah, in high school. And then my first year of college, I did a month, my summer job.
No,
And
bro.
if you take away the whole, oh, it's a person and it's gross, it's just science. It's literally just science.
Like he's saying.
And I just love the
And that's
mystery
right.
behind it. Because when I saw the person on the table, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm scared it's a dead person. It's like, oh my God, what is this person about to tell me? What story is this person about to tell me? Because as much as people don't want to believe, the dead do speak. The dead speak. And the body is the words that they speak by. So it's like, yeah, you could kill somebody, but that body is going to tell a story. Or somebody dies, body is going to tell a story. And that's what I loved about it. And be like, you want to figure out that mystery. What happened? How it happened? Where they find them? What was under the nails? What was in the eyes? What did they last eat? It's like, you want to know all of this to figure out this mystery? And it's like, it always used to be a big puzzle for me. That's all it was. A big puzzle. And that was science to me. And I was like, it wasn't like, oh, it's dead people. Like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, that's what it would be for me. You dead. Gross.
Be scared. So high school students too. That was funny. That's when I was in college, and we was just closing up. This was like around 4, because I think at the time the morgue is closed 4 o'clock. I was just closing up, and I think some high school kids were there doing job training at the hospital, and they wanted to come inside to see. So one of the morgue attendants told them, no, I don't come in. They let them come in or whatever. And at the time, there were no bodies in the dissecting room. We had already put everybody in the freezer, but we hadn't closed the freezer doors yet. And he's like, yeah, you can come in, whatever. And they came in, looked around, and then they started to peek inside the freezer. At the same time they went to peek, somebody turned up the lights.
Childish, playful.
And I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know that the lights were about to be turned off. I didn't know the lights were about
I
to be
would have
turned
been
off.
dirty right up.
I didn't know, right? The way them three girls sprint out of it. When I say sprint, this was in the dark, and they didn't know where they going, but the way they sprint out that rope, and I was killing myself laughing, even though I didn't know the lights were about to turn off.
I would have right up. There's no way.
Because literally, just as
We
they
in the morgue.
they picked to go look in, and windows in there, so light coming in there, so that's pitch black. Boy, that was funny. That was dead funny. I was like, oh Lord, they traumatize these children for the rest of their life.
Y'all playful.
I like that job. I like that job. I love that job, actually. I feel like
It's a good
Morgan Tennant
documentary.
should have been paid more.
That's a good story or documentary for like a good show. Because we don't know what happened in the baby morgues like that. So
The only thing is morgue attendants don't get paid a lot. If they got paid more, I would be a morgue attendant at minimum. But they don't get paid a lot.
that's a government job, right?
Being a morgue attendant is a government job.
Privatize it then.
I think two of the
Yes.
persons still work there. Who I used to work with. Or three of them. I think they're still there. And I don't think that's a job people just go run to do.
Exactly.
Let me go play with the damn people.
You're not playing with them, Ebony. Oh yeah, so
yes. Let me go slice and dice these people.
I
What you say
swear.
you do with the fat person? I'm gonna stitch you
midsection?
back again.
No,
Lining with a hook?
no, that's not me playing with them. You have to stitch everybody back together
Oh man,
because after you
that's a
make
no for me.
the Y incision and you done examine all the organs, you have to put everything back and put it in the bag, and you have to sew them back up.
Whee.
And I just hated the fat people because the skin itself is already tough. Human skin is very tough, right? And so, like I say, the needle is very
So-
sharp. So it's almost like a hook. Here, we got call it, please.
No, let's say roommate.
See
Like what?
See this
Yeah,
person
see.
going on.
You know,
We like to give
We can watch
descriptions
them on
to the
this
cops.
episode.
y'all
Yeah.
are crazy.
Yuri, we crazy about you.
What's that?
Nobody can come in unless they could.
Roommate. Sidebar.
When we first filmed, I was on break. So he was in here when I was classes open, so maybe yeah.
Okay.
So you just came to a roommate. Did you know you was getting a
Yeah.
roommate? That's all I can know.
No, I was like,
And I would have been hot.
but that's not like no.
I'd have been
Okay.
hot. Sick. Yuri, I'd have been
Bye.
pissed. So no, I going on a school
Nobody-
break and I come back to a roommate? Hell no.
Oh no, yeah. I mean that part, yeah. At the beginning of the year, no. Because he enrolled later, so they just slot him in my room. So it's like, all right, fine.
Just,
No,
it does sound like I just need to find a place to put you. You on mine, eh?
That's the HUC just talking about. HUC,
This one?
boss is gonna be black.
This one? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Go to HUCU.
That don't mean nothing. A couple of them is being there. A couple of them is
Yeah,
being
look
there.
at them at frats and sororities right now. And the divine
Yeah.
line. Okay, play around.
That's
O'Neill,
another topic, but
Shoulder.
that's some
Boy, they got my whole heart. They my favorite fraternity. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, I just want to be sure
Woo.
because people mock flaws at that all. So you gotta be sure.
funny.
Yuri, you know it is to come from an environment where things are clean and people
Child.
stay
Oh, no.
clean and people have manners, and you now get thrown into a confined space with somebody who came from the total opposite. We
I
fight
don't know.
every
I
day.
have to. I change that now. I change that now. Read it because I don't play that shit.
We fighting every day. I'm sorry.
Thank-
Lord knows why I
Thank-
never got sent off to college.
I change that narrative because every roommate that I've had, I just controlled the space in it, and I
I-
always was the one to check it first.
Sound like you're a spiggity.
If I went off to college, your first year, you have to stay on campus. I think that they
Mhm.
still mandate that with colleges, right? Your first year, you have to stay
Yeah,
on campus.
so,
But
yeah.
after I could come off campus, my parents had to find money
Yeah.
for me to have an apartment or up my tuition where I have a room to myself. I'm not sharing. I'm not.
Well,
I
people
grew up
just
in my
still
own
just
room my
get,
whole life. I'm not doing it.
people just get the the disability act letters, so they could get rooms by themselves. That's be like the loophole, and then housing has to honor that because that's from doctor's orders.
Yeah,
But
I'm not doing it.
but
Or-
I didn't take any I didn't do it because I create an environment where it'll be clean, but you'll be also comfortable and do because I make sure the room be comfortable as well. So
Yeah, so thank you for joining us for another episode.
On this very funny and
entertaining
educational
episode, an insightful
episode.
a educational episode. We discussed finances, we discussed health, we discussed death. This
We even discussed the TikTok.
yeah, this
for your entertainment.
rearrange. You see how deep we go? We go from talking about Drake to talking about planting human trees.
And football.
Yeah. That's how we are here at Sunsan and no brought up seed.
Throw a little sports in there just for a little razzle dazzle.
Sprinkle.
Okay.
So see y'all
Eagles
next
up, by the way.
week. We out.
and like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe to the YouTube page.
Like, comment, subscribe. We will see you all
next
next
week.
week. Bye.